Individuals only have three terms in their mouths: democracy, freedom, human rights.
Ibrahim Traoré just delivered a direct and powerful warning to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu that is sending shockwaves through diplomatic circles around the world. It wasn't a whispered remark or a vague diplomatic statement. This was a frontline declaration. With his words, Traoré didn't just address the situation at hand, he made a statement for the entire African continent. "We see you and we will respond," he said, loud and clear. The story began when an alleged statement from Netanyahu sparked outrage. The Israeli Prime Minister was accused of warning unnamed African leaders to stay in line or face consequences. While Israel's officials tried to walk back the comments, the damage was already done. But rather than waiting for clarifications, Ibrahim Traoré, the president of Burkina Faso, seized the moment. He took to live television and addressed the issue head-on, making his stance abundantly clear. "We are no longer colonies," Traoré declared. "We are sovereign states, and if any foreign leader believes they can threaten Africa into submission, they are gravely mistaken." With confidence and without hesitation, he directly addressed Netanyahu by name. "Let this be clear to Mr. Netanyahu. Burkina Faso does not answer to Tel Aviv. We do not answer to Washington, and we do not answer to any force that believes it can buy or bomb its way into our soil." The room fell silent. Traoré's message was as fierce as it was simple. "If you come for one of us, you come for all of us. Africa is not yours to threaten." His words quickly went viral, sparking widespread reactions across social media and Pan-African networks. In just moments, hashtags like "Your Africa will not bow" and "We stand with Traoré" began trending. It wasn't just the content of his message, it was the tone, the calm, and the unapologetic strength in how he delivered it. This was a message not only to Netanyahu, but to all foreign powers that have treated Africa as a playground for their geopolitical interests. And the ripple effects were felt across the African continent. Leaders in Mali, Niger, Guinea, and even South Africa echoed his words. In Mali, Colonel Amy Goita reposted Traoré's statement, while in Guinea, President Doumbouya issued a statement of support. Across Africa, from political movements to grassroots telegram groups, there was a chorus of approval for what many saw as an overdue stand against foreign interference. For these leaders, Traoré's declaration was not reckless, it was timely. It forced a question the West has avoided for too long. What if Africa decided it no longer needed permission to thrive? And that's where the story of Ibrahim Traoré diverges from the usual narratives about African politics. Ibrahim Traoré isn't just the president of Burkina Faso, he's becoming a symbol of African defiance. His statement wasn't just about Israel or Netanyahu, it was a challenge to any nation that still treated Africa as a subordinate entity on the global stage. With countries like France losing influence in the Sahel and the rise of the Sahel Alliance, Traoré's leadership signals a shifting paradigm. In the eyes of many, he represents a new era of self-determination for Africa. The impact of his warning to Netanyahu was profound. For too long, African nations have been subjected to external pressure, whether through economic threats, diplomatic manipulation, or outright military intervention. But with Traoré's message, the rules are changing. We're not just rising, we're remembering who we are, he declared. This was not merely a political statement, it was a call for unity, strength, and respect for Africa's sovereignty. What makes Traoré's position even more powerful is his unwavering stance. While some may view his warning as bold or even dangerous, for many it was exactly what they've been waiting to hear. The global community often treats Africa with a mix of paternalism and condescension, but Traoré's response shows that African leaders no longer fear to stand their ground. The timing of his statement is no coincidence. With tensions rising in Africa and with more nations seeking to reclaim their autonomy, Traoré is positioning himself as a leader who won't be intimidated. He's leading a movement where African nations are not just passive recipients of aid or geopolitical decisions, they're active participants shaping their future on their own terms. In the face of growing solidarity within the African Union, Traoré's message wasn't just a protest, it was a turning point. For him, it's not just about defending Burkina Faso, it's about pushing back against the idea that Africa must always seek permission or approval from global powers. This is Africa asserting its place in the world, demanding to be heard. Netanyahu's silence in response to Traoré speaks volumes. Whether the Israeli leader chooses to engage or not, it's clear that Traoré's words have already struck a chord. And as this moment reverberates through Africa, one thing is certain, the game has changed. The question now is, how will the rest of the world respond when Africa decides it no longer needs to ask for permission. For many, Ibrahim Traoré's warning was not just justified. It was a long-awaited declaration that Africa's time is